Okay, let's see how I can do this where you guys can see. Sorry, setting this up is a little challenging. Thanks for joining. There we go. Automatically turned. Okay, thanks for joining. Welcome to Lunch with Sandra. Today we have a lot of fun information. Thanks Kelly for joining. Thanks Elaine for joining. We have a lot of great topics and tips to share with you today. I'm coming to you live from West Lynn in the backyard of my sister's house. Isn't it glorious? I know. So thank you. Oh, and we have admin from Awaken Within joining us. So thank you everybody for joining us. Today we are talking about highly sensitive people. And most likely, if you are joining this live video, you are a highly sensitive person. So I have, in my private practice as an intuitive life coach, I have a lot of highly sensitive clients. So that's why I wanted to address this topic today, because one of my clients was asking me, how can I manage being so highly sensitive? And first, let's define what a highly sensitive person is. And if you're a light worker, most likely you're highly sensitive. So this is a follow-up from our video. Last week we did Lunch with Sandra. We did empath, how to know that you're an empath. And if you're an empath, then you're a sensitive person. An empath just means that you pick up on other people's emotions. I think we talked about that. I'm trying to remember, I've done a couple of videos. If you follow me on Snapchat, I talked a little bit, and I posted a video on my Awaken Within page, how to know that you're an empath and how to manage that. And so being an empath and sensitive is the same, and so we'll be talking about how to manage that. Thanks Marie for joining. So let me give you just some quick, first of all, awareness. Number one is being aware that you're a highly sensitive person and an empath. That just means that you get overstimulated very, very easily. And what that looks like is when you go to large crowds, if you go to a football game, or if you go to a stadium full of people or an airport, it will make you very ungrounded. And if you're not aware, then you're not going to know that you're picking up on other people's stuff. A highly sensitive person will feel anxious oftentimes without even knowing why. They have a ton of thoughts running in their head that are very, very obsessive. That seems like all of us, right? And as a result of these obsessive thoughts, their anxiety levels are really high on the scale most of the time, especially when they're out in public. So be aware when you're out in public. Hi Mitchie Don, thanks for joining. When you're out in public, be aware that your energy, your frequencies are like this, and you're sucking in, you're like a sponge, and you're sucking in energy from everywhere. So be aware that you do that. And I mentioned in my empath video, my short empath video, zip up your energy field. So that looks like all the way up. So I love to zip up whenever I go anywhere crowded. It's just to get grounded in your own body, put your fingertips together and tongue on the roof of your mouth. I choose me in my body 100%. And then zip up your energy field from all the way, your root chakra, all the way up to the tip of your head. And that in itself just kind of helps you to stay grounded, and intention is everything. And with your mind, you're doing that. So I'm going to have everybody right now, thanks Violet and Linda for joining, and Jared. I'm going to have everybody right now just take and This is called breathing in heaven and earth, and I always like to do an exercise to start with. So if we just take a deep breath in, and on the way down, imagine your cord going out the bottom of your feet to the point in the center of the earth. Lock it into place. That's getting grounded to your 12th chakra. When we do our video on chakras, I can tell you all about that, okay? Second breath. Okay, with my arms, watch, I gotta scoot back so you can see. Unplug from everybody else's energy and plug into your own column of light. And separate their energy on the out breath. This is called breathing in heaven and earth. And then on the third breath, take a deep breath in. And this time, your palms are facing because you're creating your column of light. And you put that column of light all the way around you. Feel that light. I'm going to stand up so you can see. We're going to go into our chakras. So go to your root chakra. Look at my belt. Okay. Go to your root chakra, and we have an affirmation with each one. So this is a grounding chakra. I am an abundance of all good things. Red in color. Move up to your sacral chakra. I am healthy sexuality and joy. Move up to your third chakra. This is your solar plexus. See, it's sunshine, bright yellow. I am confident in all that I am. Up to your heart center, which connects your upper and lower. I am unconditional love for myself and everyone else. Feel it green in color. Up to your throat chakra. I am asking for what I want at 100%. See it blue, spinning a beautiful blue color. This is Izzy joining us. Up to your third eye, this is indigo, your intuitive piece. I am always knowing what to do and when to do it. And up to your crown chakra. I am connected to the divine in me, and then all the way up to source, make the connection, universal connection, and then as you feel good, send that out to the world. Okay, that's called breathing in heaven and earth. And before I go anywhere crowded or busy, I like to do that exercise. And I do it a lot of times with my clients after their session, make sure they're grounded. I do it with myself almost daily when I notice chaotic energy. So how do you know when you've got chaotic energy going on? There's several things. And I notice it within me because one of the symptoms is I lose things. When I'm not present in my body, I tend to not remember where I place things. So if you're losing things quite often, you're not grounded. That's a great symptom to be aware of. And just simple, get grounded, choose. I choose to be present right now in my body. Okay, the next thing is noticing, are you sensitive to loud noises? Now this one is, I notice in kids a lot. I have some grandkids that are highly, highly sensitive. And my poor little Nora, we have to put headphones on her. She's just about 2, and we have to put headphones on her during the fireworks, or even turning on the blender to make a smoothie, which, by the way, doesn't this one look delightful? This my sister Susie made me. So being aware, loud noises, stimulation. Yes, this hourly at work. Absolutely, because people are jumpy, they get scared easily, they get freaked out easily, their thoughts are over processing. And I used to be much more sensitive to stimuli than I am now, because I've learned some of these skills, and I've learned these skills. Now, first of all, take a deep breath if you're highly sensitive, because it also means you're highly spiritually gifted, you're highly intuitive, and you're picking up the radars of everybody else. You're even being telepathic because you're picking up other people's thoughts that you think are your own. So take a deep breath and let it be okay, and celebrate that you are highly sensitive, because it also means that you're great at being compassionate, you're great at being empathic of others, being able to sense and feel what other people need. On the flip side of this, it also means you're a people pleaser, and you tend to give yourself away in relationships. And you guys know what I'm talking about that are on. You tend to lose boundaries in relationships of wanting to please and be what that person needs, and not recognizing what is it you need. So be aware there's a flip side to every sensitive person of being an empath and being compassionate and a great listener and being present for people, and also giving yourself away in relationships. So one of the symptoms, and you'll see on my Facebook post, I put one of the symptoms of being a highly sensitive person is that relationships can be difficult. And they can be difficult because you don't see your boundaries. You can't figure out where those boundaries are. So just recognize that that's when relationships get difficult, and it's important to learn how to open up your throat chakra, how to do conflict resolution in the moment you feel it, and how to ask for what you want. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get what you want, but it's so healthy for you. Thank you, Jess. It's so healthy for you to learn how to use your voice, how to express yourself, how to ask for what you want and need in that given moment. And then do not become attached to the outcome of people needing to give you what you want and need in that moment, or you're going to be emotional mess, because then we're giving our power away to other people. So realize that also sensitive people give their power away to others often because they want to be the people pleaser, they want to be loved, they want to be what that person needs them to be. And so what happens is when I look in people's solar plexus, so everybody go to your solar plexus here, your yellow solar plexus looks like it has kinks in it. It looks like it has divots in it. And there's more energy going out than there is coming in. When I look at people's chakras, they should be spinning like this of giving and receiving energy. And a chakra that a person doesn't have boundaries and tends to give away their power, the solar plexus looks like this. It's off balance, where this out the person's power center is coming a lot of energy. So learning how to keep that in balance. So everybody right now, take your solar plexus, put your hand on it, take your left hand and receive energy to heal your solar plexus, and just say, I am in balance of giving and receiving energy. Oh, I love it because I can feel when you guys are doing an exercise, I can feel it working on me, and then I can feel it working on you. So good work. Also, a highly sensitive person is a clairsentient. One of their spiritual gifts is they are a feeler. So you can feel or sense things. So just sense your solar plexus right here. Go in within and just ask, is my solar plexus balanced? And if it is, you'll feel a balance of giving and receiving. If it's out of balance, it's going to feel like you're giving more energy out. Now, somebody who has a big ego and needs to be in control and looks to control others, it's going to be out of balance receiving. They're going to suck your energy. So just realize people do this. It's what we learn from our upbringing. It's what we do. So those back to the symptoms of being a highly sensitive person, realizing you're going to pick up other people's emotions. You're going to get overstimulated. You're going to feel more emotion. So when you have an emotion, you're going to feel it to the nth degree. So let's say you're sad. You're going to go really sad. Let's say you're depressed. You go really depressed. Let's say you're anxious. You go really anxious. Sensitive people feel things more than other people feel them. It's your spiritual gift. So I'm here to help you manage this spiritual gift. Okay, what are some other symptoms? So I mentioned in there being sensitive to textures. My little Ellie we were playing with silly string for Easter, and we were spraying it on each other, and she got this silly string, and I don't know if you guys have felt silly string, it's kind of gooey. She got it on her and she started taking it off, and she was so sensitive to the texture, she actually started dry heaving. She's 4. I was just chuckling inside because I know she's highly sensitive, but I did not realize to that degree. And it was just so fun to be aware when you see little kids and they get so sensitive to a texture. Even Play-Doh, she couldn't play with Play-Doh for a long time until we desensitized her to the sensation of Play-Doh. So, oh, there's a hummingbird. Look at, do you guys see the hummingbird behind me? Susie just pointed out. Aw, thank you for visiting. Thank you for joining our video. I love that. You guys still see it? He's hiding behind those pink flowers. Isn't this a glorious setting? If you want to do Airbnb, message me because her house is available in West Lynn, Oregon. Okay, so back to highly sensitive. What are some other symptoms? Oh, textures to food. Some textures to food might drive you crazy. This is I didn't experience this one, but again, I notice it in my little grands that they'll put something in their mouth and they can't handle the texture. As 1-year-olds, you'll notice this, they start getting like, they'll start gagging on something because it has a texture that they're not familiar with. So that's also textures in your mouth. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is, scientifically they're showing that people that are highly sensitive, their brains are operating differently. They process differently. So that's why being aware that you're highly sensitive and learning the tools with how to process, so you process to the umpth degree, because when you feel an emotion, you feel it big. Let me just see. Oh, you can't make decisions. That's one of the symptoms. Now, you could have some of these symptoms of being an overly sensitive, or you could have all of them. But being aware when you have some of the symptoms, learn what your symptoms are. Know yourself. In all my coaching practice, in what I teach other coaches, the first step is to know yourself. Know what your thoughts are, know what your feelings are, know if they're coming from you, and know if they're coming from other people. But highly sensitive people will have a difficult time making a decision because they don't trust themselves. And they'll be, well, I want this, but I want that. But I want this, but I want that. Oh, but I also want this. So they feel split. Highly sensitive people will actually fragment. And so when they come and sit down in my office, their energy field will look like a puzzle that's not put together. I don't know how else to describe it other than there's spaces in their energy field, and it just looks like they're fragmented. So everybody who's watching this, if you have a difficult time being present, you're also fragmented. So here's a little exercise we'll do for a fragmented spirit. Now also, if you've had any kind of abuse in your life, which who hasn't, but some of you have had abuse far more than other people, then what happens is your soul fragments in the moment the abuse happens because it needs to survive. So we're gonna do a little exercise. This is for fragmenting souls. Look at Izzy. She's seeing, say hi, she's seeing the squirrels. Okay, so here we go. We're a magnet. Be a magnet. Just imagine yourself as a magnet and say, I am willing and ready to call home all the parts of me now. It's safe to be home with me. And feel the magnet coming out of your hands. Now these fragmented parts, they split because they needed to stay safe and secure. Just realize that that's okay, and it's time for you to be whole again. It's time for you to be all together again, and it's safe for them to be home with you. It's safe, it's safe. This will cause you to be able to get more done. This will cause you to be more focused in life. This will cause you to be able to go accomplish your goals by taking all the parts of you that have been fragmented. And what I like to do, if you guys want to stand up and gather the energy around this way, and then gather the energy around the other way. And I'm willing and ready to call home all parts of me. You guys are doing good work. They, to me, in my image, they look like little Tinkerbells flying around the universe. And when I call them home to me, then it's interesting. I'm a very visual person, so they look like they turn their head and they look down to my soul. My soul is the ghost inside of my physical body. They look and it pulls them in. And I tell them, thank you for coming home. You're safe to be home with me. And just bring those into your heart center and love all those parts of you. And tell them that they're safe, that they don't need to be afraid anymore. And you get to take care of all the parts of you by, number one, being aware of your emotions. How to manage being a highly sensitive person. Number one, get grounded. Get grounded. Well, number one, be aware you're a highly sensitive person, right? And in that awareness, be aware of what is a me and what is someone else. If you're around someone that's anxious, understand you'll probably pick up their anxiety, which adds to your own anxiety or the anxiety. And what I like to do is rate the emotion you're feeling on a scale of 0 to 10. So for anxious people, just going, okay, right now I'm feeling anxious. Be aware, quit labeling yourself as anxious. Instead of I'm anxious, you can say I am feeling anxious. That is really powerful in separating yourself from the emotion. Be aware that you're highly sensitive. Separate yourself from the emotion. The emotions are not you and they do not define you. So what I do, and I'll post it, I have an emotional scale. It's vitally important for you to be aware of the emotion you're feeling and to actually label it. I am feeling anxious, okay? Now label it 0 to 10, it could be an 8. Now go deeper. I am feeling anxious because anxiety is a result of another emotion playing, which is usually for highly sensitive people, it's an overwhelm of emotion. Sadness, anger, fear. When your body's feeling all of those, then you're going to feel an overwhelm and the anxiety is going to go way up. So take out your journal and write down, I feel anxious at a number what, and then I feel anxious, let's say you're at a 7. I feel anxious at a 7 because I feel, and name the underlying emotions that are underneath it. Overwhelmed, sad, depressed. Be aware of what you're feeling, what the emotion is, and name it. When you name your emotions, you separate yourself from the emotion. I am feeling sad. And I'm feeling sad because, we like to do because tracks because it will help you dig deeper and deeper and deeper into what the emotion is. Now, if you're out in public and you start feeling this chaotic energy, then is not the time to process those emotions. That's too much. You can't process emotions when you're in a crowd like that. So just be aware to zip up and manage your emotions by saying, okay, right now I sense a feeling of overwhelm. I'm going to put that on the shelf and I'm going to come back to you. You talk to it like it's part of your inner child, which it is. It's a part in your neural path that remembers feeling this way another time. So I'm going to put that on the shelf and I'm going to come back and I'm going to process you later because now's not the time. I need to function at work. I need to be present with my date at this football game. I need to be present to being in a crowd and getting to my airplane on time. So be aware in the moment that you're feeling this overwhelm of stuff. If you're in a crowd, it's not the time to process it. So speak to it in your mind. I am feeling overwhelmed and anxious. I'm going to put that on the shelf, and I'm going to come back and talk to you later. And make sure that you do. Make sure that you go back to that emotion and talk to it. So a lot of times I will actually name it. Let's say my sadness could be Sally. I'll put a name on her, so I go, okay, Sally, I'm going to come back to you. Because if you're not feeling your feelings, they're going to surface very, very quickly, and you're going to be reactive in life, which is another sign of highly sensitive people. They feel their emotions to the nth degree, and they're highly reactive to those emotions. So if you're in a crowd, put them on the shelf. When you can come back to them, number one, label that emotion. So you're going to say, okay, this emotion is, it could be, I'm feeling jealous right now. If you're noticing you're in a crowd and you're wanting something somebody has, then most likely it's envy, not jealousy. Understand the difference in those two emotions? Envy says, you have something I want. Jealousy says, I'm afraid you're going to take something from me that I own. Okay, so notice what the emotions are, but don't process it in the crowd. Put it on the shelf. Come into session. I've got a lot of intuitive life coaches that can help you with this process. And use these tools. Journal it on your own. First, I feel envy. There's another hummingbird. I feel envious because this person has this and I really want that. I feel guilty then for feeling envious because you know better, right? There's so many emotions that highly sensitive people just process so quickly. So what I do is pull out a blank piece of paper and write down what the emotion is that you're feeling, and I'll put a scale of emotion, an emotional scale out so you can be aware. Then talk to the emotion, acknowledge it, feel it. You don't want to say, oh, I shouldn't feel sad. I'm done feeling sad. I hate feeling sad. I got divorced. I hate feeling sad about this breakup. In the moment that you can't process, allow yourself to feel sad, and you can journal that. I feel sad because sometimes I feel lonely. I feel sad because sometimes I feel lost. I feel like I don't belong. And write out those feelings. And then I take you through a process of questioning the thoughts behind the feelings. Is it true? You'll see, coming from a spiritual perspective, which is hard to do on your own. You may need some help. From a spiritual perspective, it's not true that you're defective. It's not true that there's something wrong with you. It's not true that you don't belong. That's just that drunk monkey sitting on your shoulder talking to you. So be aware of that. It's not true. And then look for the spiritual answer behind it, which is, I came to experience anxiety. I came to experience depression. I came to experience sadness because I wanted to learn from it. I wanted to gain the higher understanding of what those emotions are here to teach me. And I will tell you that what you're feeling is very rooted in your purpose on the planet and being here and being able to be sensitive to other people and being able to heal these emotions inside yourself and be able to serve other people with this information. Okay. Do I have any questions at this point? One of the things I also wanted to bring out is highly sensitive people do black and white thinking. They go to real big extremes. So they'll go, oh, everybody hates me. Or they go, oh my gosh, this is the best moment of my life. They tend to have these bipolar emotions that are extreme high and extreme lows. One of the things you can do is just neutralize your emotions. Go to a level 5 on your emotional scale that says, I'm okay, instead of, I have to be at this complete happiness, or I have to, or I'm at this complete depression, hopeless, I want to die. Practice being the observer of the emotion. Remember, you're not the emotion. Be the observer, as if you're watching a movie screen. Be the observer of that emotion and say, I am not the emotion. I'm noticing the emotion, and the emotion doesn't have to control me. I choose to be neutral in this moment. In this moment, I choose to be neutral. And observe it and journal it. So as you're journaling it, you're feeling it, you're healing it, you're getting the truth about that emotion, the truth about the thoughts under the emotion, and it helps you to manage life so much better. So much better. Next week, we're going to be discussing crystal and indigo children, which is just a continuation of the highly sensitive child. So how do you stay neutral, but also enjoy the intensity of the moment? Completely feel the good parts and not stay in the neutral. Great question, Kelly. It's knowing when it's healthy for you to stay neutral and when it's healthy for you to also enjoy the intense emotion. I love that the rain's dripping down on me. Okay, so I'm going to scoot in just a little bit. Hold on, everybody. It's coming. Okay, so to answer Kelly's question, first of all, be okay that the emotion's there. Ask to the degree am I feeling it from 0 to 10. And in those moments that you want to experience pleasure and joy, allow yourself to experience them, but be in a place that feels safe to you to express them. In those moments that you need to feel sad and depressed, if you're by yourself and you need to process that, feel it. Go ahead and feel it. So feel it to that degree and then bring it to neutral so you can manage it. I love in Oregon how it just sporadically comes in showers on us. Okay. Any other questions? Great question, Kelly. So feel it to heal it and then bring it to neutral. So indigo and crystal children are also highly sensitive children. They are learning how to manage indigo and crystal children is a big part. I can't let my chair get wet here. I'm under an umbrella. Okay, learning how to manage. I'm gonna turn this. There we go. Learning how to manage those emotions. And learning how to manage, help your children who are indigo and crystal. One of the symptoms of an indigo and crystal children is they have big eyes. They perceive a lot of energy. Okay, I think we're at 33 minutes, so I don't want to take too much more time. Share this video with your sensitives, with the clairsentients in your life that have a difficult time managing their emotions. We get together every Monday between 12 and 1, sometimes a little after, for lunch, for healthy tips to help you to manage your life. Everybody get present because you've just got interface with each other, so get present in your own energy. I choose to be in my body 100%. I'm grateful to be in this body. I'm grateful to be alive. And I'm grateful to share life with you. I love you guys. Namaste. Have a great week.